I'm a Graham Emerson, pastor of Church in the Barn, Penrith. Now, Graham, you've just recently been to Africa. Where have you been and what did you do there?
I went to Uganda and we went to see a girl that lived with us for 5 years. We took her into our home many years ago. And 12 years ago, she said, I'm going to Uganda for 3 months. And she hasn't really come back, but she's been doing a lot of good stuff over there. So we went to see her. We did all the things I like doing, which is a little bit of football and football ministry, seen a lot of wildlife, traveling around and just chatting to various types of people and going to church, which was brilliant.
Was it a team that you actually took over?
No, it was just myself and my daughter Miriam, who turned 20 when we were there. So no, it wasn't a team. It wasn't a ministry trip. It was most of it was holiday and seeing Portia, but we did some things just to help some people that Portia knew.
And how welcoming were the people there when you went there?
Oh, extremely friendly. Like the first meeting that we went to on the first night, they just put somebody to look after us, and they were, really welcoming. Any houses we went to, they would just do their absolute best to show hospitality. In fact, Portia sometimes wouldn't tell them we're coming because they would give more than that they could afford. So some places we just turned up so they wouldn't overdo it, and we were more able to bless them than them blessing us. So
Were you in areas of poverty and need?
we went to a village that was very poor. Basically 2 rooms to the house and just a mattress in each room. The kitchen was outside with two tiny walls and a tin roof on where it was, and they cooked over fire. So that was poor. We were in Kampala most of the time, which has a lot of rich people, poverty as well, but the whole range. But Kampala, by comparison, isn't as poor as the villages.
Ask me about the football things you were doing.
Well, the church Portia's involved with, one of the guys, he goes to the some of the slum teams, helps out with the
Mm.
football. So he put us in contact with 3 teams. So went to basically give them some football kits. So I brought 3 football kits from Penrith, all to do with Penrith teams. And we gave those out. I shared the hope of Jesus with them. Many responded to the message. And yeah, so basically, like we do here in Penrith, it's to do with football, which is a game we love, but Jesus, who we love all the more, and put our hope in.
So you said that these were slum teams. Are these people that lived in slums? And what sort of was their housing like?
Yeah, this is in Kampala. So there's some
Mm.
areas that are very poor. So they just have very basic houses with a tin roof, and they're
Right.
all congregated in one area. So one of the teams that we met, in fact, 2 of the teams that played each other. So basically, the guys go and work in the market from very early. So they unload all of the masses of fresh produce from the country. And basically, the morning is just them going back and forwards, bringing the food into the market and putting it in places. So they'll finish about 12 in the midday under the midday sun, and it's very hot. And they'll come out and
Mm.
play football. So they're very poor, but they love football, which is great. And we watch them. They're very skillful. So yeah, poverty, but football gives them something to do, and they do have hope in Jesus, and this guy that we met works with them as well. So it was a great opportunity to share some hope with them.
What sort of football teams do they like?
Well, in Uganda, most of the foreign tops were English. There
Mm.
was the odd Real Madrid Barcelona shirt, but not many. So it was a lot of Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man United were the main ones. I mean, I tried to buy a replica Newcastle shirt, but they didn't have one. I told them I should get some, but it was mainly those 4 teams and mainly English teams because
Yeah.
it's an English speaking country. Every school speaks in English, so they all learn English.
I imagine they were quite excited to receive a football top.
Yeah. These particular teams don't have much of it. They're very grateful. They put the top straight on. In fact, one of the Penrith kits I brought, there was 2 women just grabbed a shirt and put them on as well for the photo at least, but they were all taken back off so the next time they play. They do have little leagues, so they can play with a proper kit on this time. I mean, some of the teams we met, like one had a football boot on, but had a croc on the other foot. So they couldn't afford the full kit. So they were really, really pleased with a full kit that was all the same color, all the same shorts. So that was really good.
Does it make you think when you come back about how much money we have in our society and, compared to what they have?
We have masses. Like a lot of our teams get a new kit every year,
Mm.
like brand new. All the kit, they're kind of scraping stuff together because their wages are that low. They can't spend on anything extra apart from the food that they eat and the little bit of football gear that the little bit of money they can scrape together for that. So they were just delighted with something extra and something good.
Did you get a chance to go to a church while you were there?
Yeah, we went to one church meeting and that was immense. So, it was on to see the new year in. Generally in Uganda, people don't pay overly much attention to Christmas, but the most people will go to church for the New Year service. So Portia's involved in the church there's 12,000 meet every week, but the night of prayer is the biggest event of the year. So we went down and they set out 100,000 seats. And we heard afterwards that all the seats were filled and there was people standing around the back. So as a pastor, I was sat on the front row and I looked back and I couldn't see the back. It was just people everywhere. So it was quite something else. So the church service was 11 hours long, 6 at night till 5 in the morning. It didn't seem that long because it was so good and you're so involved in everything, but it was something else. I've never seen so many people together at once.
So will you be initiating 11-hour services in Penrith?
I'm not sure our guys are quite ready for that, but a bit longer would be good. I was saying in church, our church yesterday when I came back, like the Africans, they pray more, they praise more, and their belief in God is so much further than ours. Everybody believes. Every Ugandan I talk to believe. So yeah, I am encouraging our church to pray more and to be at the prayer meetings more, and I hope those last as long as God intends.
I think that's because they just don't have as much and they're not maybe caught up in the materialistic side as we are.
It's partly that, but like I said in Kampala, there's a lot of people who are fairly wealthy as well, but they have just as much faith. I think they haven't been fed as much atheistic evolutionary teaching as much as Britain has had over the years. So they believe a lot more in God. Like I said, I never met a Ugandan that didn't believe in God. Plus, I was reading a book when I was out there about the East African revival, and there was a group of Brits that went out who just prayed, witnessed, spoke to the people of East Africa, and revival happened. So that faith has continued over the years. And of course, Africans have always had a belief in something, whether it was their animism or witchcraft. You've never had to prove that there's a spiritual life to them. So there's that base to it. But Uganda is changing through these big churches and the work that's going on there, and people across the country are believing, and the nation is changing. All there are issues in every country and every African country, but they are trying to, through the word of change those things, like being honest and being on time and respecting those who you're meeting, and returning what's been stolen, and all those sorts of things. So they're implementing things that are good for the country, are good for any country.
Did you get an opportunity to share in the churches at all?
No, well, that was the only real church meeting we went to, and of course, we'd been there less than 24 hours, and they have such a team that I wasn't needed or asked or didn't expect to be. The only bit I prayed with lots of people individually, but I just
Mm.
shared with the football teams and some of the people in the villages.
And did you get an opportunity to travel a little bit in the country and see some of the countryside?
Yeah. Portia was very good to bring us places. We went to a place called Ginger, and
Mm.
it's the start of the River Nile. So we went out on a little boat trip. So we went like 20 meters one way and into the lake, which was just still, and 20 meters the other way where the river starts, and it is really, there's a lot of water that comes out into there. So we went to Ginger. We went to the equator, and we saw somebody doing the not the trick, but the fact that the water spins in one
Yeah.
direction, one side of the equator, and different the other side of the equator, and then right in the middle he put like a little flower petal in, and the water just went straight down without spinning, which was I'd heard about before, but it was good to see. So we went there. We went to Lake Victoria a few times. We went to a fishing village. We had fish and chips by Lake Victoria. We went lots of places. I love wildlife, so really I love seeing animals and birds and took loads of photos of that. So like I said at the start, a lot of it was holiday after a busy period over here, but good to see those places as well.
It must have been really nice to go and see Portia and get to see the work that she's doing out there.
Portia's doing brilliantly. Yeah, she loves being there. She feels called there. Yeah, so she works. We went to her offices. So this is Finero Ministries because they have such a big church. They've got a massive admin team, and she oversees the admin. And there's a whole group of people that make things work. And there's a lot of volunteers that give up the time, a lot of time to make things run well. They're also, they're far more advanced with technology than we are. And they
Mm.
say, like, we want to put Jesus where people are looking, and people are looking at their phones these days. So they put a lot of effort into televising everything and making little short videos so that people can hear about Jesus. And I think that's a wise move. So there's a whole lot of departments in that office, but she oversees quite a lot of it. So she does have to be, she's really intelligent and organized, but she has to be gently tough at times to make sure things happen well. So, no, she
Mm.
does, she very well. She preaches, she prays with people, and to see her from, we met her at 15, grow in her faith massively is really encouraging.
Are you hoping to take a team back there in the future to do ministry?
I'm not sure. I did say to Portia, personally, I don't feel called to Africa, and I think it
Mm.
was it was a rest time for me. I mean, taking a team back, I have thought about taking people to show them and doing some ministry, but at the same time, English missionaries used to go, but the Africans are on fire for God, and God's really using them. So I see less of a need for us to go. Although short term, it may be beneficial, and it may be beneficial for some of the people I bring to not only bless but to see how God moves in a different country, and also to help where they can. So we will pray in that one, and I don't know what the Lord will do in that sense.
What struck you the most about being out there?
Porsche asked me this. I mean, nothing really surprises me, but the poverty is good to see with your own eyes rather than on a television screen, and you see the needs of people, and you do know better how to help and where money will help. And I would encourage people to give, because I know it goes directly to the people. And I think that first meeting of 100,000 Christians meeting together was just immense, and their passion for God. And with being African, they like a lot of dancing as well, which I didn't feel so comfortable doing, but they just love God. So that was good, and to see the faith of the country, how the country is on the up in Christ, how the president encourages churches to function and doesn't restrict anything is really good. And just as well as just everybody who you spoke to, you could speak to about the Lord. I mention it in England a lot of times. If you mention God, people's shutters just go down. They just don't want to talk. But over there, every Ugandan I spoke to wanted to speak about God, no matter if they were Christian or otherwise. They were very easy to talk to and very friendly. So that
Mm.
was brilliant.
Mm. What is your prayer today for Uganda?
That they continue to put their trust in God, that they grow in God, that there is issues obviously in that country, that the Christians are able to continue to implement wise, godly ways of doing things that improves the country, that they continue to be so nice and hospitable. It's hard to beat where they are with that. But yeah, it is a genuinely nice country. It's really green. It's really blessed. It's got rainfall. It's not too hot. It is a beautiful country.
Well, Graham, thank you very much for sharing today.
No problem. A privilege.